2026 is going to be an awesome year. We got some pretty cool stuff coming up. First off, we got Foundations of Recovery. This is our flagship program. We're starting it in January.
This is for anyone, man, woman, or couple who wants to come and reclaim their heart from shame, trauma, and betrayal. We start off with an education on all sorts of principles, give you the common language. We feed you from a fire hose in terms of all things recovery.
It is such a great start to recovery. And we get at the roots of things, Tyler. This isn't like any other program. Like, this is our healing journey in process, and Foundations is where we begin.
If you look at the value that you're getting there to kick off a good recovery with all of the right education, all of the right language, and a team to get you started while also being directed by Brandon and myself through the whole process, what a deal.
So if you're interested, if you're struggling, if you've been wanting to do something for a long time, jump into this. This only comes around every so often, and we would love to have you there.
Click the link in the description to sign up for it. And to make it even sweeter, we're also including a raffle for a free pass to the Radiant Dawn retreat. Anyone who signs up for Foundations will be added to the raffle for that free Radiant Dawn pass. If you're a man and you sign up for Foundations, your name still gets entered, and you can give that pass away if you win it to any woman that you want to.
So what you're saying, Tyler, is if you sign up and participate in Foundations, you could possibly go to Radiant Dawn for free?
That's exactly what I'm saying, which is crazy because Foundations by itself is already an insane value.
Man, I sound so salesy. But it actually is awesome. So come to Foundations. And even if you don't come to Foundations, sign up for Radiant Dawn. It's beyond therapy, the best healing experiences that you can have.
Click the link below and come join us.
My partner has lusted after my friends. How do I manage those relationships now?
Welcome to the Real Talk Recovery Podcast with the Therapy Brothers.
We're brothers, we're therapists, and we know recovery.
Bring your stories, your questions, your successes with real recovery.
Partner has lusted after my friends. How do I manage those relationships now?
Brandon, man, it's good to be with you today.
Yeah, how's it going?
It's going good, man. We've got the wintertime season starting to come upon us. I've been outside with my dog looking for birds lately, so that's been fun. You know,
nice.
have to get you to come up and bring your boy up and come with me for a weekend.
Well, so I have this like designer hunting dog, and I took it up to go hunting with Tyler and his dog, and my dog walked like 10 yards behind us the whole time and didn't look for one bird. So, but I'll tell you what, he's a great pet.
He's a great family dog.
Great.
Yeah, he's a great.
I love
great
Willie.
Family dog. He was nice because he keeps my calves warm while we're walking through the weeds.
Yeah. I got to get him out some more. So, yeah.
Well, Brandon, we got a really good guest today. I think this is a really good, interesting topic. It might be, we might be drilling into some things that are pretty hard things that a lot of people are going through. So I'm excited to have our guest on. Lauren, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind, just share a little bit of background and then ask your question and we'll get going.
Okay. Yeah. So about 3 months ago, my husband of almost 10 years disclosed a sex addiction, a pornography addiction, and I guess specific to my question today, a sexual fantasy addiction. And, we've both been working with therapists. We did the therapeutic full disclosure. And in that, one of the questions that I was directed to ask was, have you ever fantasized about women I know? And if the answer was yes, did I want to know the names? And in that, he disclosed a list of about 25 of my friends, neighbors, people in my social circle that he had indeed had sexual fantasies about. And as we're doing the work and trying to heal and move past this, I'm finding I'm less focused and less concerned on the future and relapse and things like that. And I can't I can't get past these visual images, and I can't get past, what he disclosed, and my mind goes to the worst places. And so I've shut out these friends, and I've shut out my social circle, and it's just easier to stop going to events where these people may be. And I don't know how to make progress if I can't get past all of that mentally.
What a hard place to be, where when we preach in recovery that the opposite of like addiction or even trauma is connection. And now you've got a place where there's certain people you might turn to for connection. They don't even feel safe anymore because of what was disclosed.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. I just, man, that's a hard place to be, because you're going to go anywhere. You're going to a therapist or come on a show like this, and they're going to be like, hey, who are the people who are safe in your life, who you can rely on and talk to? And you're like, pretty much no one right now.
Yeah.
And the natural tendency is what you're doing, which is pulling away from those relationships. And I imagine that a lot of your friends don't even know all of this information.
They don't. And I think they just think I've lost my mind.
So they've sensed you pulling away, and they think that you've gone crazy, when in reality, you're staying away because you're trying to avoid all the triggers that come when you're around them. But they don't know that.
Exactly. They don't know that. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really unfair to them, and it's so unfair to you. It's just, the situation sucks. And because your triggers and your fears are valid and legitimate, because he's acted out in his mind with them. And so you don't want to be like, having game night with them on a Friday night.
Right.
And so it puts you in a really tough position. So Tyler, do you have answers for her?
I want to ask a couple more questions first.
Okay.
So Lauren, I want to know, like, since this has all started to unfold and you noticed yourself pulling away, what are you, and have you currently been trying to do to manage all of this stuff?
I feel like I've tried everything. So in one iteration, I got angry that this would mean the end of my friendships and my relationships. So I tried to like seek out all these friends and, just be proactive. And that didn't, like coffee dates with everybody across the board. And it just seems like a roller coaster. And it didn't really help. The more, kind of what I've done more is really just, let's say we have a kid's birthday party to go to. And I know ahead of time that certain people, we just call it the list, and certain, friends on the list are going to be there. We do talk about it ahead of time. We have a safety plan we've worked out, my husband and I feel like we're doing all the steps in all the books and all the podcasts. But in the moment, it nothing, my brain doesn't process correctly. And I'll be in front of these people and my brain will start going towards, what is he thinking? Or what is he visualizing? Or what was he visualizing, when he acted out? And everything just kind of goes haywire.
And then that's when it starts to spin. Go ahead, Brandon.
Did he go into detail on his fantasies?
A couple of them, because his wife pressed him to.
You were digging.
I was digging, and I've said to him, I don't know what is. I know every book says don't ask for details. You can't take back details once you have those mental pictures, and that is very true. And I didn't know which would be worse.
It's so hard not to dig.
Yeah, because then I was like, then what is my imagination coming up with?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I know that was so hard for him too. Like he.
Yeah, and now it's something that you wish you didn't have in your mind, yet it's puts you in a really tough position.
Yeah. Yeah, it was either way I couldn't win.
Yeah. And so when we talk about those details, a lot of times what you need to know is that he's willing to be transparent and open, and you might have some things come up between the two of you where it's like, hey, there's this thing. I'm going to talk to my therapist. I'm going to talk to my sponsor. I'm going to surrender this. And and let's have an agreement that it's not something that's going to hurt you if I don't need to tell you about this thing, but I'm going to process it and talk about it so that he can be transparent and talk openly with things and not cause you more future triggers down the road.
Okay.
Right. But if he's listening to this, or if anyone else struggling with addiction is listening to this, what I just didn't say was there's justification to hide things from your spouse. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is setting up a system where you don't end up in this place where there's trigger after trigger. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So, but what's done is done, Lauren. Right.
Yeah.
So now, and talk to us about your safety plan. Like, what is in your safety plan?
So every day, he calls from work at lunchtime, and kind of just gives me we have like a numeric coding system, I guess, that I've come up with for, how's his day going? What kind of triggers are there for him, or what kind of, just mentally, where is he at? Is he feeling grounded? Is he feeling, not grounded? And so he kind of checks in every day at lunch, and then on his way home from work. We have part of our safety plan is kind of just,
what's, if you don't mind me asking, the numeric system, like, could you explain a little bit like what it means?
Yeah. Like he'll call and he'll say, today's a 0 day, meaning, he's grounded. He's just, completely mentally sound. There are no, visual, his eyes are not being drawn anywhere. He's not having to kind of battle or fight back, or a 3-second rule or anything like that. So that's a 0. 1 is he's noticing that he's feeling stressed or he's feeling tired. And so the struggle is a little bit more there, but he's fine. He's still grounded. 2 would be like a step up or down from that. He's having a real hard time. And then 3 would be, we have to, something, there was a slip, there was a relapse, there was something we need to discuss when he gets home.
Okay. Okay. So at lunch, you have that conversation, and then go on. What else is in the safety plan?
Specifically for public situations, for my, currently where we're at, or what I've asked is that, like if he's outside in the neighborhood with the kids, and one of the female neighbors who's on that list is out, and she's the only other adult out there, that he'll, text me or call me, have me come out, or he'll come in, kind of just remove himself from the situation, or have both of us out there together. And if we're going into a situation, like I said, like a birthday party, or like Halloween neighborhood potluck and trick or treat, that we kind of just touch base ahead of time, and, check that he's grounded, check that I feel like I can handle the situation at hand and what's coming up. And on paper, it's all wonderful.
Right.
It doesn't always work in real practice.
Yeah. Tyler, you have thoughts on this? I have a ton, but I just kind of want to see what you think.
Yeah, I do have some thoughts on this. I think basically what I hear you saying, Lauren, is that you are doing everything that you've been taught to do. Mm-hmm. Like you've opened up open communication, and from what I'm gathering from what you're saying, your husband's pretty on board with his recovery work too. He's open with you. He's gone through full disclosure. It sounds like he was willing to share whatever was asked, which
he's very willing. He's very repentant. Yeah.
And you get that sense. I gather that you guys are both kind of moving on parallel paths in the same direction right now towards recovery.
Absolutely.
So you're doing everything right in terms of, okay, now we've got this way to communicate every day. We've got this battle plan for like when we're in a triggering situation. There obviously needs to be some level of like healthy boundaries and bottom lines with these relationships. And I think if you knew what they were that he was doing and he was sticking to those boundaries, that's a good thing to do. All of that said, and I think this is where it gets so hard. All of that said, that's great work. It doesn't change the fact that you're still going to walk around your neighborhood and have friends, and barring like moving to a new state, like you're going to get to deal with this. And even if you move to a new state, you'll still be skeptical of all the neighbors wherever you move.
Exactly. Yes. Every female. Yes. Everybody.
So I think I differ with maybe Tyler. I differ with your therapist. I don't think you're doing all of the right things.
Okay.
I think that you're doing things that are perpetuating fear and the fear cycle. And I say that because I worry that like it's causing the systems that are set up are causing you to really be obsessed and focused on him and his acting out, right?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so like for example, the lunchtime call. You're waiting for that call and you're like on pins and needles, like, okay, what am I gonna get? What am I gonna have to deal with today? And he's calling like, okay, I'm a good boy or I'm a bad boy, and I'm, and this does not create safety in a relationship. Something completely different creates safety in a relationship. So you making sure that he's not gonna act out or lust after your friends, or that's gonna cause you to feel more fear, and it's gonna cause him to either comply with you and tell you what you want to hear, or wallow in his shame all the time.
Mhm.
And it's not going to work long term to actually create safety in your relationship. And so the hard part, and Lauren, you're 4 months into this, you say?
3.
Three.
Barely 3. Yeah.
You're responding exactly like most women do. I hope you understand that. What happens early on is, okay, I'm here to help you, to support you, to be sober, and to just like love me, like just love me. I'm here, like. And that's what is the normal response. Wherein long term, you want to know that if you go out of town for 2 weeks and leave him at home and he's wandering around with the neighbors, that you're safe,
Exactly.
that you're good. You don't have to be there. He doesn't have to check in with you. You're safe because you know the man that you're married to. That's what you want.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And so you can build a system to be able to trust your ability to control him to not act out. Do you understand what I just said?
Yes.
You don't want to build a system to trust you. You want to do the work so that you can trust him again.
Right. That's exactly where we're stuck. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I would, instead of having those check-ins at lunch, they're like, okay, where are you at today? I'd get rid of that. I'd make your check-ins more organic. I'd be able to speak more openly with him if I were you about like, hey, like, I'm just feeling a disconnect. Like, can we talk? Where are you at? I want to connect with you on an emotional level. You connect, your gut's there, very involved with those connections of what you're feeling. You're talking openly. He's saying like, yeah, I'm stressed out. I had a hard day.
Yeah.
And the conversation isn't mostly focused around lust. And okay, does that mean you're going to lust? Does that mean, no, it means like, let's get to know each other and be open and transparent with each other. And he can still talk about like, yeah, like I was triggered by some women today. This is how I handled it, and this is why I'm okay. But it's way more organic and connected rather than a system that's set up where you're babysitting, where you're overseeing, right? Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah. So Brandon, I think you're getting to where I was going here is that all of that stuff that he is doing, that you guys are doing, is like, according to the textbook, the right thing. But I think it's being missed because of what Brandon just said. And so if you can get down to, Brandon, I'm going to just put some words in your mouth, get down to the principles instead of the techniques, it's going to be better. So the principles that you're looking for is, how do we rebuild trust? Okay, that's the big one. How do I create safety in my life again because nothing feels safe anymore? Now let's get to the principles. So there's some things I agree with Brandon that check-in between you guys, you guys should definitely have a conversation. But that conversation doesn't need to be you being the probation officer and then having to shoulder that load and then having to control it and then worrying about it all day and wondering if he was truthful or not. If the plan was already in place, if he had good solid boundaries, if he had a team and he was doing his work like it sounds like he's doing, then the conversation could sound something more like, hey, how was your day today? Oh, my day was pretty good. I had a few little struggles. I called someone in my group. I processed through some things. I'm actually feeling okay emotionally. Now you hear the work happening without having to be all the work. So now he's reaching out to a team. He's got bottom lines and boundaries in place. You hear all of that. You don't have to have all the details. And now you can have a conversation with him and go, oh, this is nice to talk with you today. And so he's got a team. He's being accountable. He's being honest. There's trust being built in all of that. And you just got to have a conversation with him, right? The other place that I was going with this is that even if you did all of those things that you are doing, and Brandon, you made a good point that maybe it's actually rooting into more and more hyper focus on the actual trauma. At the end of the day, and this is the hardest part, at the end of the day, the trust is going to be built off of the feeling you get about the heart and the work that's being done. And it's not going to be built like by avoiding all of your friends. It's actually coming to a place of like doing that internal healing work to trust yourself enough to go, I know who I am. I actually like my friends. I actually want to be a good friend. And I'm going to have to surrender, which is really, really scary, which is why those other boundaries in the relationship need to be in play and communication openly needs to be happening. But I've got to surrender that. Like I'm going to have to go have friends. Right. And so part of the way that I'm going to work through that is to lean into those relationships, especially the ones that are most meaningful for me, which is scary.
It's very scary.
Excruciating.
Yeah.
Question for you, Lauren. How does my wife know right now that I'm not cheating on her? If you were to call her and you say, hey, is Brandon cheating on you right now? She'd say no. How does she know it?
That's a really good question. I have no idea.
She's actually she's on FaceTime right here. So that's why.
24/7.
Yeah. So my point is she knows it. She knows I'm not cheating on her. And she knows it because I'm a man who has the integrity to not cheat on her. And she feels that integrity from me. And so she doesn't know it because she's on FaceTime watching me or calling me constantly or whatever. And that's what real trust is about, is, it's going to a barbecue with your friends and you're having a great time. You're laughing with your friends and you kind of might see your husband walk out for a minute and make a phone call to a sponsor. Like, hey, good for him. Great. I'm still going to continue this game with my friends because I know that he on his own is dealing with his stuff, his sobriety. It really is getting to a place, Lauren, where you release yourself. And this is what Tyler was saying, surrender from controlling his sobriety. And it's hard because you were just hurt, deeply hurt by his acting out. And so the natural thing to do is say, no, I got to make sure this doesn't happen again.
So Brandon, I want to, I'm going to play devil's advocate with you for a second with what I know a lot of our listeners are going to be hearing right now. They're like, yeah, that's easy for you to say, Brandon. Like you got an established relationship of trust. Like, yeah, like what happens when there isn't a relationship of trust? Like,
so let me give you an example. So I've done, I don't know how many intakes, and this couple came in and she was saying, he checks in with me 3 times a day, lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We check in. He tells me about every woman on the bus that he saw, if he was attracted to them or not. We have a system where this sounds crazy, but I can reach over and check to see if he's aroused at any time. You should see Lauren's face right now. and so I'm sitting here and she's saying this and he's like nodding his head. And I said, you'll never build trust with her. And he said, what? do you hear what I do? I got a sponsor. I go to therapy. She wants me to do all these things, and I'm doing all of these things. I let her grab me.
She grabs my junk just
Like,
to make
I
sure
let
I don't
her
have an
grab-
erection.
And I said, you'll never build trust with her ever this way. And I'm talking to him, and I said, what will build real trust is real recovery. And I said, the truth is, you're not honest with her. And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? I'm doing everything that I should. And I said, I can feel your resentment about what's going on here. I can feel that you're this puppy dog on a string who's going along, walking through all the motions here with her. And you're not being honest with her about what works for you and what doesn't work for you, to the point where she can grab you and things like that. Right. So, Lauren, this is an extreme example. But what I'm trying to illustrate is that system of her monitoring him and controlling him, he has no masculinity in the relationship and no honesty in the relationship, right? So that's an extreme example. Your husband, let me give you the things that you want to look for. Not are you attracted to this woman or that woman? This is what you actually want to look for. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
First off, you want to notice whether he's empathetic to your pain and your fears. Okay, so like when you are triggered, like, oh, like I want to leave this party because of her, and that he doesn't turn it on you, that he doesn't wallow in his shame about it, that he said he holds space for you to feel what you're feeling and process that. Okay, so he's patient and empathetic to your and curious to your pain. He's rigorously honest despite the consequences. Okay, that's a big one in early recovery that has to happen. That he'll be honest. And you know what? It sounds like he has been. Like you've dug and he's been like, okay, like here you go, here. But honesty isn't just that. Honesty might be, you know what, Lauren, I love you. And I don't think that will do us any good if I divulge that right now. I'm going to go talk to my therapist about it. Or why don't you talk to yours first, and then let's talk about that. But that's honesty there, rather than just like, okay, I'll tell you everything because I'm a bad boy, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's proactive in his own recovery. So you're not setting up the system for him and the friends. He's completely setting that up, like the neighbor women and stuff. He's the one saying, here's my system to make sure that I'm safe. Mm-hmm. You butt out of that. And the reason you need to butt out of that is so that you can see whether he's trustworthy or not. Right?
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Lauren?
That I very much need to butt out.
Well, no, I want to know what's going through you emotionally right now as Brandon's talking straight. Lauren, what are you feeling? What are you feeling?
You're not knowing me at all. You're identifying the control freak in me. I feel like, so my first therapist and all this, and I've since moved on to someone new, but my first therapist, when she talked about the therapeutic full disclosure, she talked about evening the imbalance of power, or the power imbalance. And I think I've been chasing that for 3 months, and that's almost become like my armor. Like, yes. I was in the dark for almost 10 years. I was the victim, as it were. I don't want to be that. So I'm going to, overshoot and be in control. And granted, I do think, I kind of think that's, if he listens to this, he'll laugh, but I think that's kind of the nature of our relationship, is that I kind of act first, or I kind of get a little more aggressive. And so I think it's not that he hasn't been, working on this. I think he's kind of stepping back and letting me take the lead, because I'm going to guess, he's trying to do what he thinks I need, or what he thinks will be most beneficial for me. But I definitely, I wrote up the safety plan. Here are my 4 things that I need you to do, when we're outside. Like, mm-hmm. I like to try to just grip control to have it over and done with fast.
Yep.
So Lauren, what I don't want you to do is you're saying this is judge yourself negatively for that. Like there's a reason why. Like it sounds like you're a doer already. Number one. Number two, there's a whole lot of pain in the water under the bridge right now, and there's a reason why you're trying to not experience that pain anymore. And so the natural tendency for a doer like you is to put everything in action to make sure it never happens again.
Yeah.
And so give yourself some compassion and empathy and kindness for the fact that you're doing what you think is best, while we're talking about how that might not be the most effective thing, because there's another factor in this equation that none of us can control, and that's your husband's choice. You know, at the end of the day, you could put all of those systems in place and you would never actually be able to access his heart until he's allowed to make his own choices. And that's, I think, what Brandon's getting at here is he's not trying to like go hard at you and be like, you're doing everything wrong. He's saying, hey, this might not be effective, and here's the reasons why.
Yeah. No, I want you to avoid continued suffering.
Right.
But it's a paradoxical, because it feels like the opposite thing that's helpful for you to butt out, for you to give it to him, for you not to be so involved. Like it feels backwards.
And hard. That's
and
the
har-
I mean,
and
the hardest
really
thing for me
scary.
is not to be the boss.
Yeah. And then, but you educate yourself on what recovery really is, and you watch and see, and you do your own work where you understand what the difference between your boundaries are and being controlling. And so when you're tapped into whether you feel safe or not, like what is your self-care? What's your recovery capital, we call it, or the assets or tools that you have to instigate when you need them for you and your recovery, when it doesn't feel like he's being a safe person. But then it's still handed back over to him, because you're just kind of watching and seeing. You're in observation mode right now, not in control mode. And then you're also in a mode of hyper focus on you, on getting as strong as you possibly can get, not hyper focus on him. So
I'm very backwards right now.
you're normal, Lauren.
That's the work. That's the nature of the work. And it seems backwards. It feels counterintuitive. But what it's doing is it's creating the space for you to put energy into the things that actually can yield a result that you have some little bit of control over, and surrendering all of that energy that goes to other places that just leaves you feeling exhausted and resentful and tired and burned out.
Lauren, here's the deal. Like, Tyler would steal my shoes once in a while. Now, you got to understand this about Tyler. He is the hardest person on shoes that I've ever seen. He wears your shoes twice. They're like ruined forever. Right. So if Tyler ruins my shoes, which he's ruined many, is it my job to like get a new pair of shoes and fix my shoes?
I don't know. I would.
I think that he should, right? I don't want to shit on him, but like he stole my shoes and he ruined them. Like, figure out how to make this right. So this is what happens with betrayal trauma. Do you see where I'm going now? Is
Yes.
Your husband has shattered trust here. It is not your job to rebuild that trust. It's his job to rebuild it. And the way that he rebuilds it is not by going into this compliance. I'll do exactly what you say, Lauren, because now you're rebuilding it. You're the one up here saying, here, do this, and this. It's his job to man up, to step up, to heal those deepest wounds that are there that have caused this addiction. Those wounds that have caused him to not be an honest man in your relationship, to heal those things, to step into the darkest places so that those are dealt with. So then you feel something different from him. That's his job to do that work. That's his job to do the work of safety planning around your friends. It's not your job, right? Tyler, you owe me a few pairs of shoes.
I was just going to say, Brandon, like, thank you for setting that boundary again. I remember one specific time, Brandon, where I stole a pair of, I think we're almost new, and I mowed like 20 lawns in them that day. And I don't think to this day I have ever actually like bought you a new pair of shoes from that. And so this actually kind of goes into the metaphor though a little bit, Brandon, is that I didn't buy you a new pair of shoes.
Okay.
So answer your original question.
Okay.
Like, is
Okay.
it my responsibility to buy you a new pair of shoes?
Well, I hope that you would, right? So I would hope that as someone who loves me and cares about me and wants to be in a relationship with me, that you would realize my pain and want to make it right. And there's no guarantee that you will.
And if I don't,
Yeah. And so if you don't, then what's my option?
what is the option?
My option is to focus on me and how can I love me even if Tyler's not loving me by buying me new shoes, right? And so then I might go out and buy myself a good pair of shoes, but you know what else I'm going to buy? I'm going to buy a safe so that I can put them in there so Tyler can't get them, right? Like I'm going to be like, no, you're not touching my shoes again.
Yeah.
Because now I have a boundary and I got these shoes from me. So this is what's in my control, right?
Yes. And you're going to set the conditions by which we would continue a relationship. And I would have to be respecting what your values were. And I'd have to be respecting the boundaries you set around your shoes. Or at such point, you'd set more boundaries and eventually our relationship wouldn't continue.
Yeah. And our relationship will already be different if you're not going to be empathetic and
Buy a new pair
curious
of
about
shoes.
my pain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it'll already shift our relationship. So Lauren, are we making any sense?
Yes, very much. Yeah, I
Can I shift gears? I want to ask you a question. Your friends, are they beautiful that he's attracted to?
all over the spectrum,
Yeah.
all different physical types, different personality types, people he's admitted as human beings he doesn't really care for. It was mind-boggling. There's no
His arousal
pattern.
his arousal template is everywhere, is what you're
Everywhere.
saying.
Mhm.
Okay. But do you think they're beautiful? Like some of them, do you think they're beautiful?
Yeah, and those are the ones I have the hardest time with.
Because they're beautiful. Do you compare yourself to them?
Constantly.
Yeah. Can they be beautiful? And can your husband be faithful to you? And can you be enough? Can both exist?
Brandon, all your podcast episodes say yes. That's not how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 2 months to be able to look at myself in the mirror again. And I know that's my stuff, that's what's in my head, and these are my reasons I think he would lust after this person, and I get that, but yeah, that's where I am. It's hard to turn off.
Yeah. It's kind of back to that analogy we were just talking about of I can do what's in my control. And yeah, you want your husband to love you, to be faithful to you. And it's not okay if he's acting out elsewhere. And there's a space here for you, Lauren, to look at and say, I want to love me. I want to know that I'm beautiful enough, regardless of him, regardless of how much he wants me or not. There's some work there to really look at. And where does that shame come from, Lauren? I mean, you don't have to answer that, but to look at that, where is this shame coming from? Where is this inadequacy that I feel coming from? And him and his acting out are teaching me something here, right?
Yeah.
So, Lauren, if you liked, let's even go as far as to say loved what you see in the mirror every morning when you wake up, how would that change your relationship with your friends?
I think they'd be able to exist on separate planes again, and I don't feel like that. It's absolutely actually like a shame wall that's in front of me now. I mean, even when I bump into someone on, in my driveway, well, shoot. Yeah.
Okay, so
It's me, it's not them.
okay, that's beautiful though, that you recognize that there's a shame wall that's there. And when we look at like shame and how to like move through shame, because you can't avoid it, like you're obviously feeling it, and anyone in your shoes would. There's a few things that you can kind of insert into the recipe to help move through it more quickly. The first one is to be compassionate to yourself and to say, okay, I'm having that moment right now. I'm having this moment of comparing myself to my friends, or feeling insignificant, or not feeling good enough or beautiful enough. And just allow yourself to be compassionate to yourself for the moment you're in. And then the next couple of things that you can do is you try to add context to this so that it's not just about you. You're going to add the bigger, broader picture. How many other people feel the same way? How many of your friends probably feel the same way towards you without them ever speaking it? There's a pretty good chance that a lot of your friends are looking at you in the same light that you look at them. You add the bigger, broader picture. Try to drill out from that stuck place that you're feeling, drill outward and see a bigger, broader perspective, even to the point of, hey, every one of my friends is beautiful in their own way, and so am I. I'm an equal to my friends. And then the last thing, and this is the hardest one, especially because you've been going the other way, is to find safe places to speak what you just shared here. I mean, I wish people could see your face. I mean, there's a softness in your eyes right now that, there's something there that just needs a place to speak it and be heard. And if you had a few places cultivated there, I think that it would help you to go, okay, oh yeah, I'm in that moment again. Everyone goes there, especially with our background. Truth is, I'm worthy. I can call somebody, I can talk to somebody, I can work myself back into a place of not being stuck in that shame place. And then the last thing that you can do is to go back to that place where the wall is, and you break through it by stepping into that relationship with your friend. And you don't necessarily have to tell that friend all the details if she's not a safe space, but you can step back in and insert yourself back into being an influence in her life and letting her influence you too. So does that make sense?
It does. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Lauren, this might sound like I'm joking, but I'm not. Tyler is Mr. Achieve Anything, right? He's really smart. He's athletic. He was Mr. Spiritual. He's everything, right? So, and I was the second son, the short, fat, untalented son. And but of course I was a year behind Tyler. So everything he did, I compared myself to, like, well, I should be doing what he's doing. I should be doing what he's doing. And it got to a point where something really good happened to him in his life. And I got the news about it. And I had done a lot of my own work. Like I'd really searched for who I was independent of him. And I remember getting this news and just feeling the only thing I felt was happiness for him. Like that, I was just so happy for him. And it didn't mean anything about me. That was just him. It was him. Good for him. And do I want Tyler to thrive and succeed and be awesome? And yeah, absolutely. I don't want him to fail so that I can feel good about myself, right? Do you want your friends to be beautiful and successful and attractive? Like, yeah, you want them to be that way. It doesn't mean anything about you, right? Now, I can tell you this all day long, but the work is to go down to that shame and that fear and that trauma to say, my identity is not about like I judge myself too much. It's not about the way I look. I'm going to face this fear and deal with it. And so that way, and I want to tie this all together with your husband. That way, if husband goes out and, heaven forbid, cheats on you with these women, ouch, that hurts, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like, I'm going to relinquish control of his addiction because I've got my question answered by something other than him about how okay I am. So then I can hand his recovery back to him and watch and see whether or not he's going to love me and build that trust again. Right. Because I've got that question answered for me. Right. So, Lauren, I appreciate your courage to come on. How are you feeling as we've been talking today?
I don't want to oversimplify and say I feel good, but I feel hurt, and I feel it feels right, and that feels like I have it just shed a bright light on the work that I probably objectively could have guessed that I need to do, but I don't think I would have gotten there. So I feel it just feels right, I guess.
So I want to give you one suggestion, a tool. Set some bottom lines, maybe 3 to 5, for yourself about not stepping into that fear and control. Okay. So a boundary for yourself of, you know what, I'm only going to, I don't know, I'll make something up, right? Like, I'm not going to ask him about if he was attracted to a friend. Like, that's a boundary that you're going to keep, that you're not going to ask anymore. Right.
Okay.
Do you see why?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also okay to still share your feelings and your fears and your worries.
Yeah. I feel afraid.
Now
I'm triggered right now. Right.
So what you're doing is you're opening communication instead of just feeding the fear cycle. That's what Brandon's getting at. So I know we're getting short on time, Lauren. Do you have any last thoughts or insights or questions?
Honestly, no, nothing is coming to mind. I think I just feel like I was just moving very quickly and deliberately, just in the wrong direction. So I appreciate the redirect.
Well,
oh, go ahead, Tyler.
I actually think you're moving in the right direction. You're moving in a common direction, and you've got your heart in the work. It's obvious. You're going to be just fine. So don't shame yourself for that.
Lauren, 3 months in, and for you to be able to take the feedback that we've given you today, a lot of times when I have this conversation, I have it a lot. It's like really hard to hear, and I'll get a lot of pushback, and me and Tyler see this all the time. You have taken it, you've listened, you realize it's there. So I do want to add one more thing, if I can. Your husband, the little bit that I gather, sounds like he's a good dude, like from what I gather.
He's a great dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he's probably feeling pretty bad. He's probably feeling a lot of shame. And I just want to say, if he listens to this, that what she needs is for you to be strong. She needs you to rebuild trust. She doesn't need you to just be weak and compliant. She needs you to love yourself again and allow yourself to be imperfect, but no matter what, be committed to honesty, no matter what, and then be consistent in that and be empathetic. So you got this. It's going to be a process for you, whoever you are, husband of Lauren. It's going to be a process for you. But if you're a good dude, like we're saying, you'll take one day at a time and you'll get there. And Lauren is worth fighting for. So, all right,
Lauren, thank you so much for coming on. It took a lot of courage to come on and hear what especially Brandon had to say. He doesn't mince words sometimes. And I actually think that there's a lot of truth in what was shared today. And thank you for being willing to use your story to reach so many other people. For those of you listening, I know that there's going to be a lot of different thoughts, questions, and emotions. We would love your feedback. We'd love your reviews, but we'd also love for you to share it if you know someone else who's in a similar situation. So you guys have an awesome week.
All right. See you guys.